Are you kidding me? The yeses keep coming for Florida State. Alongside the senior recruiting analyst for Warchant.com, Michael Langston. My name is Tom Lang. And KJ Bolden, Michael, the 5-star plus consensus 5-star safety from Buford, Georgia, said yes to Florida State. Michael, this is a humongous night.
I told people this, like, I don't know how to kind of consume all this of what's going on, with FSU recruiting. This is different than the one we did a week ago with Charles Lester, because Lester was one that, we felt pretty good. We knew that, it was going to, FSU was the leader throughout the whole process. This was one they had to rally in the spring and summer where he'd get some good big visits and then really just solidify the connection with KJ of, hey, you do fit everything we do here. And then kind of make sure that message resonates with KJ. That was the key. It's like, in coaching, we see this all the time when coaches are out there. You're not going to get developed unless the message resonates with the player. And so it's same thing with recruiting. You have to resonate that message of where your production, your team's going. And I think he just fell in love with the last two visits, and FSU just made a major close and got one of the biggest commitments, probably one of the biggest I've seen in a long time at Florida State. And they've had a lot of big ones, but definitely the biggest for Mike Norvell, but the biggest, one of the biggest I've ever seen for FSU.
Michael, I mean, again, look at these numbers. I'm not kidding. It's a consensus 5-star. It's not just the industry ranking because he's high in one place. Every outlet says this KJ Bolden figure is a 5-star, 6 feet tall, 185 pounds, plays both sides of the ball for Buford as a top 10 player in the country would. But this is that terminology that we haven't really gotten familiar with at the On 3 days, Michael. A 5-star plus. That means like you're the best of the best of the best, to use the Men in Black reference. Michael, I mean, this is just different now what Florida State's doing.
Yeah, and two, it's like I said, this is different than what the Lester one, because this is one you're going against the two-time national champion. You're going against the hottest team on the recruiting market in Auburn. They've been red hot. So you're going against both two teams hot in recruiting, but one that's the two-time defending national champions and in their backyard, getting them in the backyard in the Peach State. So I think, and it's a position that FSU needs to upgrade and make better. And certainly you're getting a guy like KJ. I've said this before, and I'll say a lot of, because there'll be a lot of breakdowns on Warchant, that he makes everyone else better on the field. When you watch him, it isn't just he's elite. He's elite at making other players better. You have to double certain guys. He can close on it. There's not much this guy can't do physically. He's there. You see his body frame. He can come up, make the hit, stick his nose in there, but he can also be that ball hawking guy that just makes explosive plays. His ball skills are what makes him so freaking elite. You mentioned that 5-star plus. There's only 10 of them, so that tells you just how elite he is. And if you look across the board for all the networks, I mean, he's probably top 10 just about everywhere. So I think adding a guy like this, and it's not just going to impact, KJ Bolden's big enough. It's going to impact other guys. I already know there's 2 or 3 guys. I'm not going to say it because they're not going to give you away everything, guys, but there's probably some 5-stars and 4-stars that I can see following him to Florida State down the line, both in 2024, 2025, that this generates a tidal wave of momentum that they haven't seen yet. The Hakeem Williams one, the Charles Lester one, those are really big commitments, but this is one that affects the national scene because nationally people are taking notes. This is like FSU saying, hey, what's up, guys? We're here.
Well, Michael, Georgia's got to be about tired of Florida State now because Landon Thomas, the all-everything tight end in this class, Florida State had him, then he went to Georgia, and then you went up to his high school, and he committed to Florida State, and you got an exclusive, which was a lot of fun. But that's like, maybe the shot across the bow of Georgia. Now, this one would piss them off, I would think, right? This gets everybody's attention.
Yeah, I mean, they get 5 stars like McDonald's serves hamburgers, but still, this is a big one in your backyard that you were leading for. This is different. Buford's not too far away from, I'm sure, the Georgia campus, and to get one like this, he did. Let's put some clarity on it. He did grow up, a dream school was Florida State, but still, you have to prove that product and show. And they had to outdo a lot of heavy hitters, and this one probably ticks them off a little bit. Certainly, they're looking forward to that. I think 2026 is when FSU plays them, so
Mm.
I think they're probably looking forward to that game. But I think it's overall just announcing your presence, like in Bull Durham, the pitcher wanted to announce his presence.
Yeah.
It didn't work so well for him, but I think it's just FSU kind of saying, we're here to stay. This is what we have, and I said this on the boards too. It's like, guys, can we close the conversation of can this staff recruit or can Mike Norvell recruit? I think he's answered the bell in so many areas of recruiting.
Yeah, we don't have the full numbers for On3's rankings just yet, but Florida State's a shoe-in to be a top 3 class with this addition.
Right.
That's the third 5-star for the class. So, Michael, I mean, you're seeing that this is a stud of an athlete that can play both ways. I know you talked about Charles Lester when he committed, that perhaps he could end up, because of such good ball skills at receiver eventually. Is this a defender all the way in KJ Bolden?
Yeah, I think it's a defender all the way, but I also think he's going to be a weapon in special teams, because what you don't see on here is special teams. They're going to use him a lot, I would think, on special teams. And you never know. They might have some packages where Dugan sneaks in there and tries to steal him in for a few plays and maybe does some explosive offensive plays. But I think mostly defense, because I think with Charles, there's a possibility, because Charles had always played receiver when he was little. But with KJ, safety's always been a place that he is so special and elite, and I think that's where he's going to make his money when he goes higher up in the league. I think that's where the money's going to be for him, and he is so natural at safety, and he's just so special. And I think he's a guy that's going to make an impact pretty early at FSU. Not going to say everyone's like, oh, he's going to start. Like, not going to say start stuff, but yeah. I think he will make an impact because of the stuff he flashes with. That's going to be so good that you can't keep off the field.
All right, Michael. So leading up to this, I mean, I remember looking Thursday and Friday on the boards, on the premium recruiting board at warchant.com. One of the perks of being an On3 member is you can see the other sites. So Rusty over in Georgia's talking this, and the Auburn site's talking that. And it seemed like every school, this was the consensus across the board, every school felt good going into the final 24 hours of this recruitment. I mean, you can even look at the RPM. Usually, Michael, and this is as of last night, this is as of the 4th, but usually within 24 hours of the announcement, things tend to lean between at least one school or two. This was just kind of an unknown heading into the final day. So what was it like to cover this and to figure it all out?
I mean, I give KJ credit, on everything he did, because it was a lot of people didn't know. Like, they were talking to their contacts for Auburn, and we had heard Auburn felt, some confidence. Georgia felt some confidence. And but obviously we covered all the Florida State stuff. But I think it was really good because KJ really kept people guessing. Obviously, taking an Auburn visit, last weekend was really, that throws people off even more, because that's a team that has been in the picture. So it was real. It wasn't like the Lester one. We knew for sure. It was like, I really did not know what he was going to do. People are going to be like, people wanting me to say like, oh, you knew and you were just keeping. It's like, I really honestly didn't know. And I don't think a lot of people knew. I think there's some people that had some intel and feeling, but I don't think anybody truly knew, like, hey, it's going to be them.
Okay, Michael. So in terms of it, the commitments are great. We have seen some signing day surprises. That was a tradition before NIL. Like, that was always something. In order for Florida State to retain the commitment of a KJ Bolden and a Lester and so on down the list, is this just about now winning enough games, 9 or 10 games at minimum, and then Florida State can coast home here? Or are they going to have to sweat bullets for these 5-star type players that they got all the way down the stretch? What do you think?
Well, I think teams are going to still push for them, certainly, and certainly they need to continue to show the product and improve on the product of what they did last year. There's a lot of games that they went in there and they, that 3-game stretch where they lost 3 in a row. There's some games in there they should have won. They should have, adjusted to it. But I think the main thing is just continuing what you're doing. I'm not going to put a win plateau on what they need to do. I just think they need to show what they've been doing. If they do that, you're probably going to win like 10 games or 11. So I think if they just continue to show the product on the field, I think the rest will work itself out. I don't think there's like a set win total these kids are aiming to see. Yeah, they want them in the playoff, but as long as the product's good at what they're seeing on the field, I think that's the main factor for a lot of these kids. And it's going to be a battle. It's like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, guys.
Yeah.
Auburn ain't going to give up. Like, Georgia ain't going to give up. Texas A&M or whoever else is getting involved. They're going to get involved. They're going to try to change kind of how he feels about FSU. So they're going to have to work. But this is the first step to getting. It's easier to get a commitment than break one. So that's harder. So I think the main thing is, and I've always said this, like keeping them is harder than getting them because just you have a consistent full year of that. But certainly, I think they just got to keep the product up.
So Michael said that this could influence other names. Other names might, pick up on this recruiting momentum and say yes to Florida State. For the full information on that, head over to warchant.com. Michael keeps us apprised every minute of every day. You get the highlights here on Warchant TV. And look, there are a lot of highlights for a player like KJ Bolden. But if you want to be a part of warchant.com, they've got an opening for you right now with these specials. $1 for 1 month. If you just want to give us a try for 30 days, see how it goes, you're not going to be disappointed. Or 25% off an annual subscription to warchant.com. This is for new subscribers only, and the promotion is going to run through August 9th. So you got a few days to figure it out. But honestly, folks, the benefits of being a Warchant member are insane. Like, for starters, check out this awesome throwback swag right here. Look at this polo.
I love it.
Garnet and Gold, 10% off of every purchase from Garnet and Gold and garnetgold.com. You could apply that at checkout online if you don't live in Tallahassee. It's really simple. And then we give you a Warchant Day every month in which you can save 25% off specific Garnet and Gold merchandise. You talk about a membership paying for itself before you even get to read one paragraph of Michael's excellence. So that's what we do at warchant.com. So head over there today. Michael, I'm going to ask you one final question before we sign off. On a scale of 1 to 10, how big is this moment for Florida State in the 2024 recruiting class?
Is it just 10? Could I go above 10? Because I would say 10.5 for me. Just because it's so massive that it affects everything. I mean, this is like the perfect scenario that you're looking for. Lesser commit, then bam, another big one that Bolden commits going into the season that gives you gives you excitement. For everyone's going to be talking about that FSU LSU game, and it just really ignites your season going up, and it really sets the tone for a lot of these young guys that are both in Georgia or just in Florida in general, where people are going to say, you know what, we got to take these guys seriously now because it's like these guys are here, they're here to play, and certainly their recruiting speaks for itself. I mean, it's a tidal wave of momentum. So yeah, I think it's on the scale of 1 to 10, it's 10.5. It's a big one.
So anybody who works over at Florida State, anybody who covers Florida State knows that Mike Norvell, generally speaking, is just a loud dude. Like, he shouts a lot. If you work in that building tonight, tomorrow, the next few days, bring your earplugs. This guy is going to be shouting from the mountaintops. He's Michael Langston, the senior recruiting analyst for Warchant.com. My name is Tom Lang, and Florida State keeps on rolling. Check out more content here on Warchant TV. It's absolutely free, and head over to the website now. Until we have more news from Florida State practice or recruiting, this is Tom and Michael on Warchant TV. See you next time.